Setpoint, a company backed by VC giant Andreessen Horowitz and NYSE-listed banks like Citigroup and Wells Fargo, just made a move to address a problem impacting the financial sector. Ashley Mastronardi is on the trading floor with more. Hi, Ashley.
That's right, Kristen. Double pledging is when a borrower uses the same asset as collateral for two or more loans, and it is a fraudulent practice. Setpoint is a platform that recently launched a product to help combat the issue. And joining me now to share more is Stu Wall. He is the CEO of Setpoint. Stu, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So first tell me, what is Setpoint doing?
So Setpoint is the operating system for asset-backed finance. I think there's been a lot of innovation on the front end of fintech. So if you want to get a student loan from SoFi or you want to lease a car from a company like Carvana, it's a really good experience from a technical perspective. So we think there's a lot of great software that makes that easier as a consumer or business. We think what's not well understood is the ABF industry. So there's about $7 trillion of capital that funds those loans. So if you get a car loan, if you get a student loan, it's a liability for you, it's an asset for someone else. There's kind of banks, insurance companies, private credit funds that power that industry. That industry right now runs on email, Excel, and FTP folders. So there's a lot of kind of manual processes that create risk for lenders, slow for borrowers. That's the problem that Setpoint solves. So we have software that organizes and verifies data, that runs calculations, and provides insights to companies like a SoFi or a private credit fund that's providing capital.
And I understand there's been conversation in the industry around risk mitigation. Can you talk to me about what's been going on there and the software that you are creating or have created to kind of help that?
Yeah, so the lenders in this industry really rely on a lot of borrower-provided data. So they get information from a borrower, and there are two companies that recently have created a lot of issues in the industry. So Tricolor was a subprime auto lender. There's a company called First Brands that was an equipment lender. Both companies basically were providing data to their sources of funds. So JP Morgan, Fifth Third, Barclays were all lenders to a company called Tricolor. And they really have to rely on the information the borrower is providing. And what I think came out is they were double pledging assets, or more or less telling both multiple lenders that they had assets kind of secured against their lines and receiving funding against it, and they were committing fraud. So I think the issue is that those lenders have to rely on borrower-provided data. They need to have more verification. They need to have more transparency from the borrower and systems to prevent double pledging.
All right, and that's Proofpoint, the system that you created. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so the product is called Pledge Check.
Oh my God.
And so the idea is that if you're a lender to a company like Tricolor, you're receiving an Excel file that has all of the kind of collateral that are securing your loan to them. And so you can do some verifications. There are a lot of market accepted practices with custodians, trust companies, backup servicing, but you're still looking at the data in a silo, and so you don't know if the assets that are being pledged to you have also been pledged to another lender. So what Pledge Check does is allows that borrower, so a company like an auto lender, to upload not only the funding request for that lender, but also their entire loan tape. So all of the assets they have, whether they're on their balance sheet or they've been pledged to another lender. Setpoint then produces a certificate to those lenders that validates that that asset's not been pledged to anyone else. It's very easy to use, it's real time, it's not very expensive. So we think it's a new industry standard that will really give lenders comfort lending to these types of borrowers. And frankly, it also helps borrowers prevent accidental mistakes where they might accidentally double pledge an asset.
And how is AI integrated into this product and other products that you have?
Yes, so we think AI is incredibly important, and if you look at the ABF industry, again, it's a very big market. There's a lot of manual workflows, a lot of manual data being traded back and forth that we think is pretty inefficient. There are thousands of people that kind of manually stare and compare at Excel files or read these really long and complex loan agreements. So there's a lot of opportunity to use to use AI in the ABF market. The issue is ABF kind of requires two things. It has to be zero defect, it has to be auditable, and generally all the information has to be able to come out of Excel and go back into Excel. So we think AI can make processes a lot more efficient, but you always have to have a human in the loop. And so the approach that Setpoint takes, we have a lot of AI tools that make it easier to extract data from documents. So for example, to verify an invoice is real or ties to a loan tape, or to read a loan agreement and extract logic from that agreement. But we always have market experts or humans in the loop reviewing the work of the AI so that what we do can be put in production, it's zero defect, and it's auditable by our clients.
And what steps do you think the industry could take to restore confidence in borrowers?
Yeah, I think that there needs to be more transparency. So I think a lot of lenders are going to ask for more information from the borrowers just so they can validate information they're receiving. I think there needs to be technology, right? So there's a lot of Excel files being traded back and forth for multi-billion-dollar facilities. Excel is a great tool. I started my career at Bain. I love working in Excel. I think a lot of people in the industry are very familiar with it, but there's a lot of issues with it. There's no version control. People can hard key numbers. They can trade things back and forth. Maybe someone goes on vacation, someone doesn't know how to use someone else's Excel file. We really think all of this needs to be moved into software that can operate in real time, verify calculations, and I think that benefits borrowers because it can allow them to get access to capital and be a lot more efficient. It benefits lenders because we think a lot of the risk in the ABF industry is actually fraud and mistakes. These investments have secured interest in collateral, and so as long as there's not fraud and mistakes, for the most part, these are very safe investments. But when there are issues like what we saw in Tricolor First Brands, where there actually is alleged to be fraud, there are big losses. And so I think we should take steps to prevent that.
All right, Stu Wall, CEO of Setpoint, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.